Super 12 action started on the 23rd of October, and thus far we've seen some topsy-turvy matches. Actually, a lot of upsets, a lot of predictions that didn't went according to plan. With me to discuss thus far how the Super 12 action at the World T20 is ongoing is John Ramsingh. John, as I said earlier, a lot of shocking results thus far in the World T20. How would you rate those performances?
Akeem, that's what you get in a T20 World Cup. Teams were gunning for this tournament for quite some time, if you know it has been postponed and so on, but now it's actually here. Teams are ready. They've been taking their exes and everything for quite a while. I know that they're at the world peace, we call it the big dance. You know, we're seeing some really good performances. And teams who are challenging, everybody wants to beat the West Indies because they have the World Cup. And teams have been challenging for that. And we're seeing teams putting in their performances pretty much on the topic West Indies.
Hard to gauge who would make those top four?
Yeah, definitely. That was something that you do not want to predict and put maybe your entire paycheck on because of T20, the nature of it itself. You have to consider the players, the conditions that they're playing in, and of course the opposition. And when you look at that, if you look at the groups, with spin being a big factor as well, that's something you need to factor in terms of making predictions. And it's open, it's wide open.
Yeah, in terms of West Indies in particular, you know, a hammering by England, and then I think a feeble performance against South Africa. You know, how do you pin West Indies thus far after two matches?
West Indies, they're right down at the bottom right now, and the only way they can move from there is up. But when you look at what is ahead of them, because what's behind of them, we have no control of that. It will be spin galore with Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, and Australia to a lesser extent. But when the pitch starts to get a bit older, when we get to that Australia clash, we can expect Australia to turn up the screws as well with Glenn Maxwell and company, who are not necessarily frontline spinners coming to the fore. But West Indies so far, like you asked, not the side that we wanted to see, not the performances we wanted. England put out their A game in the first game, and of course West Indies caught napping. West Indies tried to come back in their second game against South Africa. They got more runs. South Africa, of course, lost their opening game as well, so both teams were kind of like scratching. And you can see that cautious start from both sides. But in the end, it was South Africa who came up trumps because what they did better was actually manage the situation on the day itself. Bowling first, restricting West Indies, a gettable total, and then a nice run chase. So they manage the conditions better, manage the situation better of a run chase. And that's why West Indies are two games down in a World T20.
Some persons are still of the opinion, though, that an early exit looms to West Indies, irrespective if they win the three matches because of the net run rate. But what would you recommend that they could do different to hopefully at least win those three matches and be within a shot possibly?
If you look at the teams West Indies still have to play, right? Sri Lanka beating Bangladesh. West Indies can perhaps look at targeting Bangladesh first of all. I mean, they play Sri Lanka next. But if you can beat teams and beat teams convincingly, you may not necessarily bowl a team for 55 and then trunks them the way England did with West Indies, but you can have a similar type of performance, right? Records are made to be broken. West Indies can perhaps turn up one day and blast the team out for next to nothing and go get it in a quick overs, or put on a massive total, which I don't see happening in these conditions, but anything can happen in T20. Put on a massive total and then blast the team out. It's possible if they can reverse that trend, losing two games quite convincingly, win the others quite convincingly as well. And the teams that they're playing now, if they continue to lose, it can work in West Indies' favor. It's a very slim chance, but anything is possible.
Playing 11, a lot of controversy starting around the playing 11. Gale's present, Lender Simmons, you know, struggled in the last match. No Ross and Chase. Some people are saying O'Shane, at least me. How do you see the perfect playing 11?
There's no such thing, right? It's just what works on the day, and if you get through, you get through. What I think should happen though, Chris Gayle, everybody knows Chris Gayle is an opening batsman. He's not, in the middle, is not making the team, giving it the balance it needs really. So if you can have Chris Gayle, if you want Chris Gayle in the team, you got to open the bat in. Simmons has played at number 3 before, we can have Simmons at number 3. Roddy Eswick has been speaking about Gayle being the dominator of spin. Simmons is actually a good player of spin as well. He can manipulate the middle overs and allow persons at the other end to do the ball bashing. Let's say Evan Lewis is there batting deep, Chris Gayle is there batting deep, Hetmyer or Pooran come in and batting deep as well. All right, so if you can have that anchor role, if Simmons can play that against the spinners, because it will be a heavy dose of spin, like I said, coming down towards the end of the tournament. I see that combination working better than how it is right now. Just a matter of Gale going up, Simmons coming down. Middle order remains the same with Hetmeyer, Puran, keep Polly where he is. The all-rounders, Bravo and Russell. They're still to come, still to put on any good performance in the tournament, but they're just one innings or one performance away really. And then the bowling, I want some firepower. I'd love to see O'Shane there. Maybe Obed McCoy getting an extended run with his left-arm seamers. He's been doing very well, changing up and so on, but he can bowl it quick as well. Give him an opportunity. We have the spin. Akil Hussain has definitely put his hand up and say he's going to take control of that. The other spot now depends on who you're playing. All right, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka to some extent do not handle the short ball very well. If Ravi Rampal is your pick, let Ravi go. If not, bring in Hayden Walsh. You mentioned the other person, Roston Chase. That's a spinning option as well. If there's no place for Roston Chase in the batting lineup because of what you have set with Gale and so on, give Roston Chase an opportunity to give you some off spin. Gale can turn his hand over, but he has not been doing so of recent. So give Roston Chase, who has the ability to turn the ball as well, a bowling spot. Just can't go wrong.
Just finally, what is your pick? Since you say who is your pick, to possibly lift the title?
Yeah, I said this before at public forum. Pakistan, the way Pakistan has been playing, I'm impressed with Pakistan. If I'm going to pick perhaps a dark horse in this tournament, that's going to be wide open. Maybe you could pick like an England.